welcome back. This is alright, good. So for problems with this not rolling, behind me we have polls. Well, not polls. We have resumes. So after a week where if you watch Monday's vlog, you should. I break down some of the games. The week where Monday's vlog, I talk where 1 and 2 go down. Very big. This 3 weeks after 1 and 3 go down, and number 2 almost went down. That was when Bama played Miss State, Auburn played Georgia, and then Notre Dame and Miami played, if I'm correct. I think those were the matchups that week. But Clemson is now number 1. Auburn, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin follow. Huge debate. People like, oh, Auburn, they have 2 losses. They should be like 4. But people are saying like the wins now outbalance them, and I kind of agree. Alabama and Georgia give fall 5 or 6, which means SEC has 3 teams in the top 6, and then they have 2 others later down. Miami, Ohio State, Penn State, and Southern California all round out. TCU, Stanford, Washington, Central Florida, Notre Dame fall 11 through 15. The Central Florida, people think they should be higher. I'm one of those. I think they should be higher because it's not easy to go 11 and 0. Yes, they played not as strong as it, but you can't blame them. They were going to play Georgia Tech. That got canceled. They beat Maryland. They've had like so many games. They just beat South Florida, and they only move up 1. Like, people like, really? They should. And I think so, too. I think they should be in at least the top 10. Michigan State, LSU, Washington State, Oklahoma State, and Memphis fall there. 16 through 20. Northwestern, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, NC State, and Fresno State fall 21 through 25. With Miss State staying in and Fresno State coming in to it, it helps Alabama. Big falls, Miss State 9, Notre Dame 7, Miami had 5, Bama fell 4. Big rises, obviously, was a Florida 4, the Stanford at 9. Washington had a Rose 4. Stanford obviously beat Notre Dame. Another big fall is Washington State 5. A lot of teams either stayed the same or just moved up. A lot of teams just moved up 1. There was some huge jumps, but not huge. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rises above 1. The one in those, and then all the falls were at least 4 or higher. 2 new teams come in, so obviously that happens, and 3 teams stayed the same, so you can do the math. There was 5 teams that fell. Now to get into this part, because this is more fun. So as we can talk, resumes. So people discount this win by Alabama, and they have the right to, obviously, because it is a Florida State team. So it's because it's a Florida State team here that it's not you shouldn't be. Alright, now I got the story. It's not bad. Florida State's quarterback got hurt, so that's why they fell. People discount that, saying, whoa, it's a bad loss. Not good as a win. Also, the committee also takes into account of the intent trying to schedule a good team. Obviously, because it's hard to I can barely tell you who's gonna win this week. In most cases, let alone let me tell you 4 years from now how good a team's gonna be. Also, how good a team's gonna be if injuries happen and stuff. They also have the Fresno State, which I said now is 25. They're playing for the Midwest. They're playing for the Mountain West Conference Championship. Colorado State also there, and they're second in the division. I mean, it's a respectable win, based on the fact of obviously it's a conference champ, and you think, oh, they didn't play anyone. Well, in their conference they're very good. These two teams very good. Colorado State lost Colorado, but they beat. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say something, but I realized Oregon State's not a win. Colorado win. You go talking about Ole Miss 6-6. Well, the reason why that's impressive is because one, it was a beatdown. It was a 66-3 beatdown, but Ole Miss was projected to probably be 4-8, maybe worse. Vanderbilt, who was 5-7, not included on here, but at the beginning of the year, Vanderbilt was good. Texas A&M, they're 7-5. You're like, oh, they just fired their coach. Well, they fired their coach because he had 25 more wins and losses over 6 years. It was just that he couldn't win in November, and it's something that most people call these days the Saban effect of 8-win seasons aren't going to cut it for long. You can get by. 8-win seasons will not cut it. LSU, they were 19 when they won, 17 now. LSU, very quality win. LSU, people are like, oh, it's LSU though. They have 3 losses now. They ended, but you have to remember that they have 3 losses. A loss to Miss State, a loss to Troy, and a loss to Bama. They beat Auburn. They beat Florida, who at the time was ranked 20. Never mind, we can't. Forgot. Teams were crap this year in the SEC. They also beat A&M. So it's a quality win. And then the Miss State win, because Miss State, even though they lost to Ole Miss, that's another thing Ole Miss has to beat Miss State. Miss State. They were very good. They were a 4-loss team. They were very good because they did pull off some games. The loss was to, FYI, background for this. The Emma, obviously nothing happens. Ohio State's going to win it. And Ohio State, TCU, and Southern Cal are going to win their championships, along with Auburn and Clemson, just so then we have that going. Bama, let me put some rankings. Bama's 5, Ohio State's 11, Ohio State's 8, TCU is 11, and USC is 10. So I did not put rankings. And yeah, just in case you couldn't tell, Pac-12 title. Clemson won't affect anyone here, obviously, but the Auburn win, 2-loss team, and I don't really care. We have a Christmas theme going. Auburn lost 2 losses, 1 to LSU, who Bama beat, and then the loss to the ACC champion, number 1 team, Clemson. But you have to remember this, in the loss to Auburn, as I mentioned, there was 3 linebackers out. Hootie Jones went out with an injury. Alabama was hit by something I like to call the injury bug. So Ohio State, they're 8. Alabama has the smallest jump, obviously. Ohio State here. Alright, so people want to talk about Bama's resume. Bama has 1, 2, 3 wins. They have 1, 2, 3 top team wins. And then if you look at it, Army's 8-3. Okay, Bama has Michigan's 8-4. Army, obviously the Navy outcome won't affect it. But they also have the title, but they have here's where people are stuck up on about Ohio State. It's their losses. A loss to Oklahoma at home. Okay, so this was at that was a loss at. We'll get to these in a second, obviously. But it was a loss at home by 15, and then a loss on the road by 31 to a 7-5 team. A lot of people stuck on about that. And yes, people talk about how good the Big Ten is, but other than the top 3 teams, only like the top 5 teams are actually good. Which means 19 or not. Yes, you can make the claim SEC they have. Well, I mean, if you think about it, in the SEC they have above 500. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Big Ten has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 7. So obviously there's that, and then Big Ten has 1 6-6 team, and then everyone else is like 4 and 8 or worse, 5 and 7 and worse. SEC also has 1, and that's a team no one's expected. But Wisconsin, yes, they'll have that win. We don't know how far in these 2 cases won't know how far they will fall, and in this case too. But the 31-point loss is what people are stuck about. Yeah, it was away. Alabama's 12-point loss was away, but there's a big difference between they lost to at the time, number 6, Auburn, now number 2, and they would be SEC champs in this scenario. Obviously, I'm doing this all for nothing if all the Chalks win, but we don't really care. And then the difference between Iowa, yeah, they jumped into the rankings, but then they fell out. They're 7-5. The Oklahoma loss can be forgiven. Like, if this didn't happen, and we were talking about 11-1 Ohio State, it's a different story, obviously. But that's there. You can't ignore it. With non-conference wins at Army, it's a good win because Army plays. Don't even know what I'm doing at this point on my computer, but Army's a good team. Army apparently actually has played no one except Ohio State, maybe Temple. Yeah, they really haven't played anyone. So that not a TCU. TCU they have the worst non-conference schedule. As you can see here, everyone has like a non-conference game except TCU, because TCU's was Jacksonville State, Arkansas, SMU. Now, obviously, Alabama has 3 on here. They have 1. Ohio State, in non-conference case you're wondering, also played UNLV. And I feel like someone... and Oklahoma, Army, and UNLV. TCU played Jacksonville State, Arkansas. I guess we can say Arkansas. We'll put a note that they played Arkansas, and they won. We'll put a note just because Arkansas was 4-8. We'll put a note just there for everybody. Just know they at least played someone out conference, attempted to play. But they beat Oklahoma State, who's now 19. They beat West Virginia 7-5, Kansas State 7-5, Texas 6-6. Had to put it because obviously my thing was if I put one team over ranking thing here with 6-6, I was gonna have to put anyone with that record on here. Just because I put Ole Miss because it was kind of it's like if you look once you get past the quality wins here. The quality wins, the ranked wins, you look at the second day, Alabama technically now has 4. And then you look at, these type wins, you look at, these, over 500 wins, those are going to get important, obviously, when you break it down. They have 2, they have 4, 3, they have 4, 3, 3, they have 3, they will have 1, 2, 3, but then they'll have the win against Oklahoma. So what happens really then is in this situation, these don't really count anymore because it's they beat Oklahoma, but then they lost. So their best win will pretty much get, I think, somewhat negated in the eyes of the committee, because you have to look. Oh, they beat them. But it's like the thing is 1-1. So you look at it like that. Like now they're 1-1 versus them. Then they had the loss to Iowa State, who also beat Oklahoma. We only have one team, Texas, here, that's played two of the teams here. I feel like I could get into like, and then we have Bama too, with Arkansas. Bama, for reference, played Arkansas. I didn't think that one, but Bama played Arkansas and won 41-9. Because I know everyone wants to do common opponents here. Also Iowa State by 7 at Iowa State. So who was 7-5? Iowa State also beat Oklahoma. So the USC now. USC. They would have this 2 Stanford wins here. They'd also have the wins against Texas, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State. Very out of those things, it's 6-6, 6-6, and 7-5. Not very strong. And then they have that. They'll be 9-4. This would be like afterwards. It would be 9-4. They would be 12-1, and they would be 11-2. A 9-4 team. So not strong wins, and then that's why people are saying they're out. Then the losses. That's a bad loss. Bad loss because it's by 35 points, and then this is a 3-point loss. And that's a loss at Notre Dame and at Washington State. So a common theme here is the losses were, except here, that was at TCU. The losses were both at. The losses were at teams. So common theme is you lose on the road. So most teams will eliminate them. People eliminate them. I just added them so then people didn't tell me like, hey, you should make sure because some people they deserve a chance as much as damn other teams. And then people, so the 11-4 jump would mean 7 spots, and they would have to jump. If TCU was to do it, they would have to jump Southern Cal, who could win the Pac-12. They have Stanford right behind them. Then they have Penn State, Ohio State, who would in this scenario win that. So then they move Miami, Georgia, and then Wisconsin and Oklahoma would fall down and stuff. So it would just be a bunch of mess. And if you look at it would you put TCU or Wisconsin? Would you put TCU in Oklahoma? Well, that's a different debate now because Oklahoma has all these wins. They're 1-1 against them. They don't have the title though, but they also have the Ohio State win. So boom, that's why I tell TCU. Most people will then eliminate TCU because of just the jump at this point, and then obviously who would be falling most likely, especially in a scenario like this. Who would be falling? It would be hard to do that. Oklahoma would be falling, even if Ohio State lost and Wisconsin won. Oklahoma would fall, Georgia would be falling, and Miami would be falling. So would Ohio State and Penn State. Not Penn State, but Ohio State would. Wow, USC would rise stuff. So or Stanford could even jump them. That's why that really doesn't happen. So if both these teams win, obviously, then it's if TCU wins, and then it's then it'll obviously be Clemson, Auburn, Alabama, Well, at that point, it's really like just like, okay, who's in? And I don't know how the committee would do this. I mean, that's a crap ton of money being made right there, because you got last year's semifinal rematch, Iron Bowl. Trust me, I can tell you this. What you need to do, put that game as close. I don't care how Clemson gets, that you put that game as close as possible to the state of Alabama. I don't know how you do it, but find a way to put that close to the state of Alabama as possible, and I guarantee you'll sell out within a day. But obviously, let's just say Ohio State wins, and then don't need that anymore. And let's just say Oklahoma wins. Obviously, then this changes to champ. Well, strength of schedules will flip flop. And stuff like this will come into place. I really don't know. Another reason people say TCU won't get in is if it comes to it, the committee doesn't admit this. But think about brand names. Bama is higher than TCU in brand names, obviously. They won't admit this, but it's just that's why I think blind resumes are good. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Comment what you think will happen and stuff. The vlogs are going to get a little out of whack the next few weeks until the next season. I know the season will get out of whack and stuff. Obviously with the Bulls. So thank you.